Hey, thanks for being back. And you know what? A lot of people are out there and they're seeing Bitcoin, move up and down. And that's really the cryptocurrency they've been following because it's all over the news. And lately we've had this dump of about 50 million Bitcoin. And then we had another dump of about 50 million Bitcoin, which drove the price down quite a bit. We see it creeping up once again. Why do you think they're dumping so much all at once? I mean, what would be the purpose of that?
Well, I mean, most of the time you have a large sale of Bitcoin, it's generally goes on a private auction. So, it doesn't necessarily go onto the markets. So the fact that you have a massive dump on the market, just that fact alone means that there is intent. What does it tell me? I mean, it could be that they want to control the price. It could be that they want to push the price up just enough to sell a bunch of Bitcoin at the top and take profit. I can tell you beyond almost no uncertain terms, because nothing is certain. In my opinion, Bitcoin's absolutely manipulated in price. So there's still a lot of speculation going on. So those are the reasons that I could come up with. I mean, Z and V, what do you think?
Absolutely, I agree. I think that Bitcoin is manipulated. This is why atomic swaps that are coming in, that new technology coming in that allows pairings of various coins to each other, allowing you to buy. It doesn't necessarily have to pair through Bitcoin. It's such a big deal because, in a sense, cryptocurrencies, we want this whole world to be decentralized, but it's not truly decentralized when we have one, giant conglomerate, Bitcoin being that. Controlling everything, how the market swings up and how the market swings down. So absolutely, the big players see atomic swaps coming. They're trying to, in my opinion, gather as much funds as possible while the going's good right now.
Yep. And for those that don't know what an atomic swap is, it's an ability for you to go from one currency to another currency without the use of an exchange like Coinbase or Kraken or whatever. That's simply what an atomic swap is, and that is going. And this is where we're having most of these problems. Most of the problems that we're having in cryptocurrencies, in terms of hacks, cyber attacks, losing things, Ponzi schemes and things of that sort, is that these bloody exchanges, Dave. And that's the problem. These bloody exchanges will say, okay, yeah, you get a Bitcoin from us, but are you really, unless you have it in your hard wallet or you have a paper wallet or stuff, you're not really holding it. So you have it, you're just keeping it floating in an exchange all the time. Don't think for 1 second that these guys actually have your Bitcoin or any of your altcoins in there.
Yep. So there's actually a really interesting point right now. For those of you who trade stocks, you guys obviously know about Robinhood, the free exchange. So Robinhood now offers Bitcoin and Ethereum purchases. But the Bitcoin and Ethereum purchases aren't, you don't actually own the Ethereum or you don't actually own the Bitcoin. It's paper. Now, does Robinhood actually have that Bitcoin and Ethereum to back up their orders? That's the big question right there.
Right.
Yeah, that's supposedly you're going to have the authorities, the financial authorities in the United States, to be monitoring that kind of thing. I'm just really not impressed with the financial authorities' track record, whether they mean to mess up or whether they don't. So I'm not really impressed with the FDA's ability to protect us from bad food either. So, it's for me, it's more of you kind of have to watch it yourself. And none of anything that we say is financial advice. This is all for entertainment purposes only. None of the information we give in this show is intended for anybody to use towards financial gain. And of course, past results do not indicate future results. And disclaimer out of the way.
Will atomic swaps, just going back to that for a second, will that basically help with the amount of cryptocurrency, whatever coin it is? Will it help from people dumping it, in huge amounts? Will it stop that?
I would say that what'll happen is it's going to take away the incentive to do that, or it's going to decrease the incentive. Because right now, Bitcoin is the lever. So in the market, the lever, however you want to say it. If you want to push the whole market down, you push on Bitcoin. And that's because we don't have that decentralized platform out for trading yet. So the decentralized exchanges will make it to where you can dump a bunch of Bitcoin on the market, but eventually the other coins are just where people will go. Bitcoin's not going to have the Bitcoin dominance that it has right now, which I think currently is, what is Bitcoin dominance right now? Is
38.6.
38.6. And for people new to cryptocurrency, Bitcoin dominance is the amount of cryptocurrency that is in Bitcoin. And because Bitcoin is essentially like the dollar is on, say, like you take $1 to the stock exchange, you can't trade one stock for the other. You use $1 to buy your stock, you sell your stock into dollars. So Bitcoin right now, and to a degree Ethereum and some other minor cryptos, that's how it works. By and large, it's Bitcoin. This is why we have the issue that we have.
Correct. Absolutely. And I really think that when atomic swaps happen, these other altcoins will not bleed so much because we just won't be relying upon Bitcoin. And that's really where I see this market sort of going towards. I think that is essentially the future of what cryptocurrencies will be. And that will allow it to be truly decentralized.
Now, right now, Coinbase, pretty much everyone knows what Coinbase is, the exchange. And we know that the government ordered Coinbase to hand over people who cashed out. Now, is Coinbase, are they going to be decentralized, or are they just going to discontinue their service when exchanges go decentralized?
No. So Coinbase is absolutely not decentralized. Coinbase actually recently announced on CNBC that they were actually going to create their own crypto fund. Available for people to invest in. So Coinbase, I'm not entirely sure what Coinbase's plays in the future. I believe Coinbase wants to be the true first SEC regulated exchange, and they kind of want to be in the back pocket of the government in a sense. So I think that they're just going to go ahead and ride that tail. Now, that being said, Coinbase has first person's movement in that sector. So I think that allows them to actually still be profitable by doing so. And I don't think that these atomic swaps and these DEXs, these decentralized exchanges, will affect Coinbase too much.
Coinbase is going to be the next crypto ghetto, kind of like Facebook social media ghetto. Mm-hmm. That's right. Coinbase, the back end of Coinbase is called GDAX, and this is all US based. And so I don't use Coinbase, and I don't use Bittrex for the same
Cowboy,
reason.
It's all one company too, man. It's a digital currency group that owns it all.
See, there you have it. And then that's a US group, right, V?
Yeah, it is. They own Coinbase. They own a couple other exchanges. They own a lot of these major websites. It's all digital currency groups, like one conglomerate.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that's the reason I don't. I've been playing with the casino's money for a long time, so I don't need to go to Coinbase, fortunately.
So, I mean, from everything that we're hearing and everything that the government is doing, we see that the Atlanta Fed president there, the Fed for the New York Fed is out there, and they're both making the case that crypto is not currency. Now, they keep harping on this, where they keep saying that, cryptocurrency can never be a currency. It can never replace fiat currency. It just won't happen. We have Christine Lagarde from the IMF saying that, we need to basically lock or crack down on Bitcoin, and because it's, it's used for laundering money and all this stuff. Now, they have not let up on their fight against cryptocurrency. And when someone fights so hard to demonize it like this and to tell you that it's not going to be a currency, that tells me that they're very nervous about the crypto market. Why are they really so nervous about people catching on to cryptocurrency and the blockchain system?
I think it really comes down to the blockchain tech in general. So the blockchain is the first truly honest technology. There is no hiding in the blockchain. Point A to point B, everything that gets transferred from point A to point B gets shown. And it's, whether it's good or whether it's bad, it gets shown. There is no hiding behind it. You can track it from start to finish. And I think that is where a lot of light is going to be starting to be shown on all this back end stuff that, people don't want to be seen doing. And I really think that scares, these huge powers. Just simple as that.
And I take a little bit that is, I agree with Crypto Z on that, although I do take a different stab at that from more of I've always been concerned that cryptocurrency was, say, invented by the bad guys. So we put all our money in it and then they just take it away. Cryptos disappear. That's something that's kind of in the back of my mind, especially early on. Maybe it was made by the CIA or maybe it's made by the big bankers to fool us all. And that could be possible. Now, what this tells me, though, is that if that was the case, then they would be telling everybody, get into Bitcoin. So I think that the fact that they don't want people to buy in, that tells me that they don't want people to participate in this new economy that is going to free them from this old economy. And that means that either I think if they were going to kill it, they'd have done it by now. And I think that either they can't kill it or they want to make a bunch of money on it, but they want to gather as much as they can. And they want to keep us out so we cannot get personal power. And that's really what I believe.
So they don't have as much as they want to have right now, essentially is what you're saying.
Yeah, I think that the powers that be want to have as much market share as possible.
Yeah. And they fear this technology at the end of the day. This is challenging. That's why you have guys like the CEO of PayPal saying, Bitcoin's a scam. It's a pump and dump. There's, people, in order to understand cryptocurrency, you got to look at it this way, right? People always say, well, what's Bitcoin? It's backed up by nothing. It's worthless. It's this, it's that. And my answer to anybody who says that, if it's worthless, if it's truly, and when I tell people that when they say it's backed up by nothing, I say, sure, it's backed up by something. Like what? Well, it's backed up by the labor of a machine. Like, what the hell are you talking about? Labor of a machine. You got to look at it this way. We're no longer in the age of the labor of man in some respects, okay?
Correct.
We're in the machine age. We're in the computer age. Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are the currency of computers. What do I mean by that? Well, let me flesh that out for you guys. When you look at, like, I always tell people, oh, it's worthless. Okay, if it's worthless, try to go ahead and mine Bitcoin for yourself. Try to mine one Bitcoin, just one. You will find out that it's not the easiest thing to do. And soon it's going to be so damn cost prohibitive because you're going to require a ridiculous amount of computers with a ridiculous amount of power. So there's your labor. The power, the computational power required, the hardware that is there's a reason why you have firms out there that are spending hundreds of millions of dollars to do what? Mine cryptocurrencies. The biggest energy expenditure right now, I think there was a spike. There was a report, and I don't exactly remember all the details of it, but the headline was the greatest spike in energy consumption in the world in the last 2 years was 80% put forward towards the creation of cryptocurrencies. Everybody's mining it. Why? Yep. Because they know at some point it's going to be cost prohibitive for you to do so. These people aren't dumb. So these power brokers, these guys are out there poo-pooing Bitcoin, poo-pooing cryptocurrencies. They're mining it on the back end. Jamie Dimon's a perfect poster child. Bitcoin's a scam. I'd fire any trader who trades Bitcoin. Meanwhile, he's buying Bitcoin. He's backing up his truck every single time they artificially dump it to affect the market. So this is the real deal, folks. This is the machine age. It's the labor of the machine. So there is value to it. It's not something created by some sort of algorithmic circle jerk. No. This is why I always implore people, read up on blockchain technology. Read up on the internet. Read up on not the internet, but read up on cryptocurrencies. The same way experts back in we celebrated 28 years of the internet about 2 months ago in February, right? The internet's 28 years old. What happened in 1995, 96 when the internet boom really started to begin? People were predicting that the internet would collapse a year or two later. They're saying it'll never catch on. It's just a fad. You'll never read a book on a screen. You'll never listen to music on a device. You'll need a CD player. People will never leave print media. Now look at where we are. The same thing is happening. The powers that be fear cryptocurrencies because they don't control it. That's why they poo-poo it. If the powers that be don't like cryptocurrencies, that is a sign that you should be in there. It's as simple as that, folks.
I also see the miners just like gold miners, where you have actually, people mining the gold. You have people mining cryptocurrency, and it takes a lot of resources. It takes a lot of time. It's not like the central bank where you push a button and you just create currency. There's no work behind it. Here, there's actual work of computers doing the work compared to gold miners where, you have, machinery. You have to scout out your location. There's different types of work, but they're both doing pretty much the same thing. There's a lot of hours being put into this, either one by a machine or by man. So when people say, oh, they're just pushing a button and creating it, no, that's the central bank. This is something completely different.
Oh, absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's and Dave, to go back to who was it, Dave, that said that it's not a currency? Which group?
That was John Williams and the Atlanta Fed president. They both said crypto is not a currency. It doesn't meet their standards of being a currency. Of course, that's the central bank standards. And they're saying it can never replace their fiat system.
Oh, yeah. It can never. These are the same guys who said that gold is a barbarous relic.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
saying the same thing, right?
Well, let's look. I don't know what John Williams' background is, but I actually have a degree from a top 10 university in economics. I think that we talked about that at the beginning of the show. My background, learning what you learn in college is actually dangerous to reference because most of the stuff I learned about economics happened well after college when I started to wake up. But one of the things that I did get in college is the definition of a currency. And you can look it up if you want to, and it might say a few different things. But the reality is the coffee cup I'm looking at could be a currency. It's whatever has a store of value that is agreed upon between two people. If two people agree that this chair can be traded as currency for something else, then that's the case. That's just how it is. So I don't really care what John Williams, who I wish he didn't have that name because like John Williams is one of my favorite composers, different guy altogether. But this J.O., John Williams is saying it's not currency. Hey, sorry, buddy. I'm kind of an authority on the subject and it's a currency.
Yeah. So for me, just reiterating on the fact that about cryptocurrencies in general and how it's influencing the market as a whole. Just for those of you who don't know, cryptocurrencies a lot of times they're mined on hardware, just as V was talking about. Various technologies. Some cryptocurrencies are mined through graphics cards, and the amount of money that cryptocurrencies has generated, just graphics card wise. NVIDIA, which is one of the largest graphics card manufacturers out there, has grown 200 points over the course of 1 year. It has grown nearly 150% in the stock market just because of the sale of cryptocurrency miners. That is an absurdly large amount. And this is, a publicly traded company, and it has actually caused the price of graphics cards to rise up each by close to 30% on each card right now because of how much demand graphics cards now have for mining rigs.
Oh, and speaking of mining rigs, there's also this ballyhoo going around about it takes so much energy, and man, this is such Dave. I think you would call this fake, phony, and false.
Yes.
So there is more than enough energy to handle the mining. I mean, as time goes on, you're going to end up mining less and less, and the rewards actually get halved. And the amount of energy going into these mining operations is not going to take the energy from the rest of the world, not going to shut the lights off. This is completely and utterly false, just to let people have that one out there.
Do you think that the central bankers, I mean, the IMF and the Fed and all these people, they're saying all this because their system is centralized. They control it, it's centralized, and we have this decentralized system coming online where they can't control it in any way. And if people get wind of it and people start to use it, and there's a lot of different applications being developed right now, people start to realize, wow, I can get paid for my job using cryptocurrency. I can use cryptocurrency to pay for goods. I'm not using a bank. I don't have a Federal Reserve note. I'm getting paid in it. I don't have to, cash out and go into dollars to buy something. Doesn't that just go around the entire central banking system?
It does. Although one part of what you said, I did want to kind of eviscerate. So they can control Bitcoin. They're doing it now. And the way they do it is they buy the Bitcoin and they use it to manipulate the price from outside. But that is the level of control that they have that we know of. If there's some kind of a magic backdoor switch, I think that there are enough eggheads, and God bless the eggheads, that's not a derogatory statement, but there are enough programmers out there who would have been able to see that in the code. So essentially they can control it, but they can't print more. They can't do like with the dollar where you can just print 50 billion and hand it over to Alphabet, and then Alphabet invests it into their own stock and you hide the inflation in the stock market. So but everything else you said, absolutely. They're scared of it. They have a lot less control. And whenever the powers that be lose control, then they cease to be the powers that be.
Yep. So some pretty interesting news. MIT actually essentially announced that they want to create they're going to be creating a program that they essentially want to battle Bitcoin with. They want to take Bitcoin down. So just exciting stuff to hear that.
They want to, is it a crypto they want to create, or is it a program?
They want to create a, essentially a centralized cryptocurrency, because now, I mean, Satoshi Nakamoto, originally the whole premise of Bitcoin was not to be a centralized currency. Unfortunately, as time has passed, as guys like Roger Ver have talked about, Bitcoin has become essentially centralized because of how it shapes the cryptocurrency verse. So MIT is looking to create a better version of that.
Well, I mean, I think this has been tried before. Didn't J.P. Morgan spend like $100 million trying to do this, and it just fell apart?
Yeah, so J.P. Morgan has failed to do it.
$250 million to be exact.
There you go.
Yep, J.P. Morgan has failed to do it. I know that Bank of America has patents out for blockchain in which they want to essentially create their own token, but But
the funny thing is if they want to create a blockchain, the question you got to ask Bank of America, J.P. Morgan, and this is how J.P. Morgan's whole project crashed and burned, is this. The question is your blockchain open to the public? The answer is no. So at that point, if you don't have an open and free blockchain, you don't have a blockchain. You just have you just have a ledger. You have a private ledger. That's all you have. That's it. Period. So that's number one. Number two, they fear Bitcoin cryptocurrencies because of the blockchain technology, because it makes the playing field, whether if you have $10 billion or $10, you're treated the same. They can't have that, because unlike the blockchain, which is if you imagine a flat plane, and it's an expansive flat plane as far as your eye could see, that's the blockchain. So there's no spires, there's no vertical integration anywhere on that horizon. That's a system that's emerging in the world right now. That's what cryptocurrencies are all about. When you look at what we're used to in terms of central banking, when you look at Wall Street, the City of London, these are all vertically integrated structures. Vertically integrated structures have at all times mechanisms of control. You do not have that in the blockchain. That is why it's dangerous. They do not want to return the labor of man back into the hands of man. They want to keep it for themselves.
You know what?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I just wanted one last quick thing. Z said earlier that's really important too, is that, and V alluded to it as well, the difference between an open ledger and a private ledger is huge, because the government can have, say, $10 trillion disappear from the Pentagon. We don't know what happened to it. With the blockchain, not possible. Not with an open blockchain. And that's all I wanted to add to that.
Yep. What happens if there's, and I think there's a story out there about a hacker coming in and hacking in and stealing Ethereum or Bitcoin? I mean, how do they steal it then?
So they hack the actual hub. So what happens that they don't, so when somebody hacks the blockchain, they're not actually hacking the actual blockchain. That's not really hackable. What they're hacking is the point A or point B. And that's what they did. They hacked point B. So they knew that the money was going from point A to point B, and then they targeted point B, which, could be, the bank's database, or could be, my own wallet or something like that. They hacked me or hacked that person, and that's how they got those funds.
Yeah, to use a technical term, those are generally what are called man-in-the-middle attacks. So the man in the middle is going to be sort of in between the buyer and the seller, if you will. A really good example of this would be what happened with Binance about a month or two ago. When was that, Z? The big Binance hack with the APIs? Do you remember?
Oh, that was about a month and a half ago. Mm-hmm.
So basically people, the big news comes out, all the FUD, Binance got hacked, your typical FUD. I mean, it was all over the place. Bitcoin's bad, Binance is hacked, you're not safe. And well, no, Binance didn't get hacked. Binance is actually really secure. There were these third-party API, and what that means is that these people had these computer programs that they would actually use. They would log into their own Binance, and then they would have these computer programs running the trades to try to use algorithms and things like that. So the actual attack face was within the API code. So essentially the people who wrote that code inserted a backdoor essentially to get in there and do what they did. So the blockchain itself wasn't hacked. Binance is not even blockchain, and it wasn't hacked. It was the third-party API.
Correct.
But even if it is hacked and they take the funds, the ledger shows that, this is where it went.
Yep, absolutely.
compared to cash, where if somebody goes in or with the central bank and they take the funds, there's no way of knowing where any of it has gone.
Correct.
It just disappears into thin air.
Absolutely. And that is what is so scary, because it keeps people accountable, right? So, you have this hacker right here. You can always see where this hacker has put those funds. If he decides to take those funds and dump it at another exchange, you know where those funds are going. It's not a surprise.
That's why this whole entire montage. Bitcoin, it's the currency of criminals and terrorists and human traffickers. No, it's not. That would be the dollar. That would be the dollar. If you're a human trafficker, you're a smuggler, you're a terrorist or drug dealer, the last thing you want to use is Bitcoin. What you want to use is the preferred currency of choice globally for all things psychotic and all things narcotic, and that is the U.S. dollar.
I thought it was Amazon gift cards.
That too. I like iTunes, but go ahead.
Now, one thing that I have been hearing from different people is if we go back to the internet, when the internet was first being introduced, everyone was sitting there going, what do you do with it? Because back then it was new. You didn't have a phone. You didn't have music online. People were like, okay, what are we going to use this for? What are we going to use this for? Same thing with cryptocurrency today. I mean, today everyone can see the internet. Oh, look, I can download my music. I can stream my videos. Now they understand what they can do with the internet. Cryptocurrencies, a lot of people out there just hear Bitcoin. That's all they hear. Maybe Ethereum, maybe, but they don't understand what you can do with it. All they hear is Bitcoin. That is it. And what everyone's scratching their head. Yeah, but what do I do with this? What can be done with the blockchain? It makes no sense to me. So my question to you guys is telling, everyone that's listening, what can this be used for? What is the benefit to the people? Like what, instead of, and just holding Bitcoin, what technology can come out of this whole blockchain system?
I think it's a question of what it cannot do, as opposed to what it can do. So the way that my friends who are just getting into Bitcoin or any kind of cryptos, the way I explain it to them is that you have these other tokens, right? We'll use, say, a token for PPT, we'll use as an example. So it's a software token. It's like you go to the video arcade, you give them your dollars, and they give you a bunch of tokens, and you put your tokens into each machine. So in this case, though, to make an appropriate analogy, they give you a different token for Galaga, a different token for Pac-Man. I'm really dating myself right now. They give you a different token for, say, Centipede, right? That's how the crypto market works. So if you want to take advantage of PPT's platform, Populous platform, this is an invoice factoring loan program. It's going through some problems right now, but I think it's going to end up as a really good platform. And essentially, you will buy, say, $100,000 of PPT token, and then you will take that token and put it on their platform. And then you can actually join with other people to lend that money out. And then that money can go to, some company that needs to do like a factor loan, factor discounting. And when you get your money back from that plus interest that you earned through that platform, you can take those tokens, trade them for Bitcoin, and then you can take the Bitcoin and pay for what you need, or turn it into dollars or what have you. And so every single crypto out there, I think there's over 1,500 of them now. And there's a bunch of junk out there, but the ones that are good have their own separate use. You have Bitcoin for tracking food or tracking, products, a lot of logistical supply chain. You've got, there's cryptos for that, multiple. You've got cryptos for advertising space. You have cryptos for, automobile registration or sort of like that Carfax type thing. I mean, you name something, there's probably a crypto for it. And if it's not there, it will be.
Yep.
There are hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of companies, hundreds of thousands of companies that accept crypto payments right now worldwide. Everything from travel and hotels to ordering pizza to buying a car to buying. I mean, it was as recent as 2 weeks ago. There was a mortgage company that sold a mansion, one of these mega mansions, paid in Bitcoin.
Yep.
So this is not something, it's becoming more and more utilitarian. It's utilitarian and more fungible, and that's what we want. And because folks, we are not even at the beginner stage of this. This is not even this is basically like the I can't even explain it. It's the maven of all mavens. It's such a unique start, and we have an amazing opportunity. The way we beat these guys in globalization and globalism and these tyrants is you just stop participating in their system. The thing with Bitcoin and blockchain technology, it has been proven to work. It is a trustless system, meaning there's no trust required because it works, because it's a trust-generating machine. It's a trust machine. Utilize a trust machine that no one has any control over. All right, it's decentralized. They can't shut it off. They can't stop it. The Germany tried to tax it, didn't work. China tried to tax it, didn't work. Russia tried to tax it, didn't work. The U.S. is trying now to tax it. It's not going to work either. Okay, because the people here ain't that bright. Trust me, they ain't that bright. So we have an amazing opportunity here. So the more people take advantage of cryptocurrencies, the better off we will be for day-to-day transactions.
So the biggest problem I see today is that we're in this hybrid type of environment where we have the cryptocurrencies, we have the dollars, and we need to move back and forth between these. But a lot of people get caught up with taxes when they cash out. What can be done while we're in this hybrid environment, where people, want to get the cash, they want to cash out, but don't want to go into dollars?
I think V, you've got some info on that, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
The greatest problem people have is this, okay? Because, again, the powers that be don't want you, okay? Don't want you to utilize cryptocurrencies. They don't want you to utilize any other system but theirs, okay? So that's what the powers that be want to do. So what they do is they made it difficult for you. Oh, you can't buy cryptocurrencies using our credit card. Oh, you can't buy cryptocurrencies using our debit card. Oh, we won't accept cryptocurrency. So they're trying to use like an Operation Choke is working on point. What they've done with people that own gun shops and cannabis dispensaries and whatnot. They're making it impossible for you to bank. So what I've done is working on a solution with some of my partners in the precious metals business. And I'm not talking about Jimmy John's Coin and Carry or your local little coin shop or, look, there's no major American metals dealer. There isn't. It doesn't exist. So any one of these guys that come out there, I work for 7-7. Yeah, they're nobody. The biggest players in gold will be in Switzerland and Hong Kong, Singapore. That's it. Okay? The company I've been working with, partnered with them on several things, last several years now. It's I think over 7 years at this point. I've worked with them to create a platform, and we're going to be launching this platform within the next few days. People have an issue. The people's biggest problem is this. They can't go from cryptocurrency to fiat. It's a big problem. Right now, we've set up a system where if they want to go from cryptocurrency to fiat, we can do that. Okay, that platform is coming out. The second thing what you want to do is this, okay? The second option is this. If you want to go from crypto to gold. Now watch this now. For the last for the last 250 years, there's been a system. And it's a system that only the elites used. It was only available to them. And that's called the Good Delivery System, aka the LBMA Good Delivery System. It's not the LBMA gold pricing, which is completely different. This is LBMA as in a gold standardization, meaning the purity of the metal. Okay, it's standard for gold. Everybody uses LBMA standards for their metal. If you don't, you don't have pure gold, period. That's just the way it goes. So if you want pure gold, if you're a sovereign institutional investor, if you're somebody who's a major player in metals, you want to buy gold, you're buying LBMA bars. Okay, that's just the way it is. The beauty about the LBMA Good Delivery System is this, folks. It is outside of the banking system. Okay, I'm not going to delve too much details into it and bore you to death with details, but it's outside of the banking system. Therefore, it is free of any third-party counter risk. And what that simply means is this. If the country that you live in goes belly up tomorrow economically, that's okay. Your gold is safe. If the bank fails tomorrow, that's okay. The gold is safe. If anything goes to waste tomorrow, that's okay. Your gold is safe. Why? Your gold is in a safe jurisdiction. It's in the correct jurisdiction, which means everything in the world. It's free and it's protected from government confiscation, any loss, any theft, a nuclear strike, a tsunami hitting it, whatever the heck it is. It's vaulted in your name. It's allocated. It's randomly was inspected and audited at all times, okay, by third parties. It's verified. So these guys are the most paranoid network. Okay, if the gold is counted upon delivery, counted upon pick up. I mean, it's you're talking about strict and stringency to a level that is beyond obsessive compulsive. Okay, beyond obsessive compulsive, but it's safe. It is the safest thing in the world, and the majority of people, especially in the United States, have no clue about it. They have no clue about it. So the LBMA system is what Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and what Russia and China use. Okay, good delivery. What we do is we can take your cryptocurrency. You got cryptocurrencies, you got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 100, $200,000 in cryptos. You want to get out? We'll be able to take that, convert it into LBMA certified gold. Now watch this now. You can tell us, okay, now it's in gold. We can do a few things. Number one, we can deliver that gold directly to your front door. Directly to your front door. And everything, again, is insured, it's bonded, the whole 9 yards, okay? Number two, you don't want to take delivery of it. Fine, we can store it for you. We'll vault it. And we'll vault it in the correct jurisdiction. In other words, it's not going to be in a vault in some building somewhere in New Jersey. Not going to happen, okay? It's going to be in the right jurisdiction, meaning it's going to be in Singapore, it could be in Hong Kong, maybe even Switzerland, okay? We'll give you a choice, but I like Singapore and Hong Kong, all right? So we'll vault it for you. Now, if you ever want to take liquidity of your gold, okay, you have let's just say you're in our trading room, you're making profits, you're taking your crypto profits, you're moving it into gold. Now you have amassed a fortune in gold. If ever you want to say, hey, V, you know what? I have $100,000 worth of gold with you guys. I want to liquidate $40,000 of it. The next day, our guys would call you. I mean, right then and there, our guys would call you. Sure, no problem. What currency do you want? Because we'll give you access to 24 currencies, and you just tell us which bank account you want us to wire to.
And you mean sovereign currencies, not crypto.
Sovereign currencies, not cryptocurrency. Guess what? Something sovereign. Fiat. You want it in dollars, euros, pounds, Aussie dollars, Swiss francs, Norwegian krona, yuan, yen. We have access to all of them, and we'll wire it into the bank account of your choosing. And we'll do it even better. Guess what? We don't report you to any taxing authority because we are not in any of those jurisdictions. So we don't sell out your data. We don't report you to a taxing authority because there's no taxing authority. Because once you're in LBMA Gold, guess what, folks? You're under WTO, World Trade Organization rules and regs. In other words, LBMA Gold is not taxed. It's not taxable. So once we liquidate that gold and we wire it to you, you do with it what you wish. That is the most ultimate game-changing platform ever created.
Are we able to take the actual metal?
Yes, you can.
I asked that question as if I didn't know, but I know that a lot of people in our circle, and I know, Dave, your circle's probably even more so, are metal. In the end, if things really become a problem, cryptos may or may not be usable. I know that right now, a lot of people use cryptos in the third world. I think we mentioned it on the last show. There's stories about people down in Venezuela where they received their bolivar. They may get, maybe it's worth 80% of what it was a few days ago because of the inflation down there. It's socialist policies, of course. So they're turning it immediately into Bitcoin as a hedge, if you will. I don't like to use the term safe haven for Bitcoin. I like to reserve that for precious metals only. So point is, though, is that a lot of us in the circle are big on having physical metals, and that's part of the solution that that V is putting together here.
Absolutely, it's the safest bet. It's the safest place you want to be.
And Z and I, that's where we put a lot of our profits go right into metals. Mm-hmm. It's one thing to understand, even if you may think that cryptocurrency is some kind of a scam or a sham, or it's going to disappear one day. The reality is that the dollar could have that same reputation, if you ask me. I mean, what's a dollar backed by? Nothing. There's nothing behind the dollar. 90 some odd % of them are all electronic. You're already dealing with electronic currency. The difference, is that someone else controls the electronic currency that you deal with. So I'd say, like, on currencies that I trust, metals number 1, cryptos number 2, fiat number 3. That's where I'm at with it.
Well put.
Now, we've been seeing Bitcoin, because of dumping of Bitcoin, move up and down. And of course, the central bankers say, whoa, this is volatility. This is why we don't want you in the crypto market. This is why we need regulations. But can you show us how you were able to navigate through Bitcoin, where you see Bitcoin going, and what technical analysis you used to weather the storm?
Yeah, I got Bitcoin up. We did see a nice run up, and I was able to see some signs that we were being pushed up towards 10K. So, TA wise, up until maybe a few days ago, there were like 3 times where everybody thought it was going to go down. But I did see some bullish engulfing candles where the price was supposed to go down, and all of a sudden it got pushed back up. There's just a ton of it, and I would ruin my current chart to actually zoom in to show you everything. So suffice it to say that Z and I do have an inkling as to when they're going to push it in a way that is unexpected, and therefore I actually stayed in all the way up through here. Now I did have a stop loss down here that I ended up removing, but Bitcoin went all the way up to, in fact, if you look at the TA that Z and I put together, 9,800 was where I said I thought it would reject. It actually did, rejected at 9,750 or so. So the TA that we put together actually is playing out. I have some supports and resistances. This says resistance. It's also a support. It just depends on what side of the line the price is on. But we're falling through some supports. And I saw that it was falling towards my stop loss, but I saw that it was also in this green cloud, which means that there's extra support. And it's a good thing that I got rid of the stop loss, because I would have been stopped out and the price would have gone back up. So we're charting it very carefully. What I think is going to happen is we are going to end up, and I've done this using a different method too. I have what's called an Elliott wave on a different chart. Might be able to pull that up. But I think it's going to go right up to somewhere around 91, 9,200. And then once it does that, I think it may actually pull back down again. I think we're going to see a downtrend towards about maybe 81 to 8,300, somewhere in there. And that would actually complete an Elliott wave that starts way down back in this area. And then once we end that cycle, which I think is going to be somewhere around here, I think we're going to see some movement back up. It just seems like they want to push it up, but they can't just push it up in a straight line. They have to let it correct so people can actually buy in and consolidate. And that's what I see. But I don't know, Crypto Z, do you see anything different?
Yeah, so I just want to talk about the overall scale of Bitcoin right now, guys. The other day marked the first time Bitcoin has broken out of its 120-day trend line going downwards. That's a very, very big deal. That means for the last 120 days, Bitcoin hit 3 points along its trend line, which is this downward line that kind of went down, this bearish line, and it finally broke out the first time in 120 days. So right now, theoretically, if you want to talk about it from a pure technical analysis standpoint, Bitcoin is quote unquote bullish. However, obviously, you are seeing a lot of price action happening right now. You're starting to see, bulls fight the bears fight the bulls. And, there is some manipulation to that degree. Now, what I personally see is a retracement down to low 8s, possibly high 7s, and then a heavy bounce up. Just like Cowboy was saying, it feels like the inclination is that they want Bitcoin to rise up. They want cryptocurrency market to rise up. And I'm backing that data as well with the overall market cap. So one of the things I'm looking at right now is just the overall general market cap of cryptocurrencies in general. The market cap right now is $396 billion. Bitcoin's dominance is at a pretty low point of only 38.6%. What that's telling me right now is that money, big money, is coming into the market, and it's not just going into Bitcoin. It's actually going into other alts, which is a great thing. This essentially causes the entire market to grow up, and then it's not so reliant upon Bitcoin. And then this way, Bitcoin will be less manipulated in my sense, and it will allow it to go up as well. That's what I'm currently seeing.
Yeah, that's awesome, Z.
How high do you think Bitcoin's going to go? Do you think it's going to ever reach the 20,000 mark again?
Absolutely. So if you from now, I've been practicing this. This is a new technical analysis version that I'm currently learning. Cowboy is very versed in this, but I'm currently learning the Elliott wave. And if I actually look at it from an Elliott wave standpoint, I actually see the fifth wave ending roughly at 23,000, which is higher than the previous all-time highs. That is what I'm seeing. Cowboy, I'm sure you see something different, or you see something similar.
No, well, this is actually something that Z and I did on our very first show with V and Frank. And so to go Elliott Wave, I have not done that on Bitcoin, but what I can do, and this is actually something that Z taught me, where you can find out once you have a retracement and once you kind of see like a bullish movement. This is what Z was talking about earlier. You have this big, up to 20,000 right here. This is that downtrend line that Z was actually talking about. And the fact that we broke out of it in 120 days, this is the basic area where we're breaking out. So I did want to illustrate that to everybody so we can kind of see what Z meant by that. Now, this is 100% up here, right? This is 100% of the run. The run stopped there. So if you think about that, we're going to use a Fibonacci retracement. Okay. Now the Fibonacci is, it's a percentage thing. So if you go down 23.6%, you're right here at the 0.236. So if you want to sort of know where the 70% is, we're going to use that right now to kind of confirm Z's math. Using not Elliott Wave, we're going to use a separate type of an indicator. And when you use separate indicators and they line up, your probability of being correct is a higher probability. So this right here is roughly 70%. Okay, this line that I just put in here is about 70%. Now, if you have a 70% retracement, then when it runs again, the probability is that it's going to run back up to 100%, and then it's going to come down. For every percent that you go past 70, you can have a higher probability of being correct when you present, say, it goes from 70 to 75. Okay, that's a 5% in addition to that 70, which means that when it comes back up, you might go 5% above this 100%. You go 105%. Okay, we went down almost 100%. We went down to, I'm just going to blindly say, not blindly, but I'm going to estimate 97%. So that's a 27% difference. Now, this run, if you want to look at it this way, started at about 5909, we could just say 6,000, and it went to 20,000. We'll keep the numbers rough. So 6 to 20 is going to be 14. Right, so we had a 14,000 point run, and we're going to go roughly 25% beyond that, right? So 25% of 14 is about 3.5, if I'm not mistaken. So you're going to go $3,500 above this 20,000 mark, just below that. So 3,500 above that is 2350. So 23 and a half, maybe just below that. And Z, you said 23,000 was your number.
Yeah, correct.
So I've got about 23,000, a little over that.
This is two ways to do technical analysis that are two separate ways of somebody that would actually approach this as Bitcoin. Because obviously some people specialize in one field, some people specialize in other. Cowboy and I like to specialize in really all technical analysis in general. Cowboy is very, very versed in a lot of them. And so this is really comforting stuff when multiple different ways of doing technical analysis lines up together.
Yeah, that's actually the fun part when we work together, because we tend to use different indicators, but we get the same answer, and we're like, okay, that's awesome. It means there's a good chance it's going to work.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that is where we see Bitcoin running up to this next high. Now, during this time, of course, along the course of Bitcoin reaching this high, obviously time is going to be passing. And what is really, really interesting in the crypto space right now is that a ton of different platforms, a ton of different cryptocurrencies are going to be actually launching their products. This is where this is why we keep saying that this year is such a big year for cryptocurrencies, because cryptocurrencies are getting out of the speculation side of things and they're actually coming to fruition. We're starting to see, big banks, we're starting to see big companies, even governments starting to use cryptocurrencies for their everyday use. We spoke about Venn being one of them last time we spoke with you, Dave, about how China wants to build this entire city on Venn. The Canadian government is going to be using the blockchain technology towards, within their own government. So a lot of exciting stuff is happening right now. And I think that 2018 will be the start of what I see as a huge boom in the technology side of things with cryptocurrencies, actually technology coming out and being usable. in the everyday life.
So I guess all those people that are saying that Bitcoin is finished and done with, it's not happening.
Yeah, and half of them are buying it.
Yeah, correct. half of them are buying it, and as we said, with atomic swaps, it could be that Bitcoin might not be this giant overlord anymore. That other cryptocurrencies can grow with Bitcoin, and it's not so reliant upon Bitcoin. This year we'll tell. I think we'll learn a lot this year.
Cool. And this is the stuff that you do in the trading room.
Correct. Correct. So this is all fundamental analysis. What I like to focus on a lot of times is fundamental analysis. Cowboy knows a ton of fundamental analysis, but his specialty has been so much on technical analysis. I mean, it's been incredible. For me, I've taken a little bit back of a step from technical analysis. I've been focusing so much on fundamentals so that, when we lock and load, everything sort of plays out nicely that way. There's news along with our technical analysis that we provide.
Oh yeah, I mean it's if you look at what we do is our trading room provides, of course, for entertainment purposes only, and none of it's intended for people to use for financial gain. But we let people watch us trade, and our Z and I are. I think we're the best room out there. I'm just gonna say it. If you,
I can vouch for that. No joke. I could read you off right now. Review after review after review of people who are in it right now, who are succeeding wildly. But go ahead, Cowboy.
Oh yeah, and we don't want to sit here and sell it too much. The results will speak for themselves, and this is just reality. What we do though is that Bitcoin was Z's fundamental analysis was so key, and I had a hand in that. But when Bitcoin was dropping, so from say late January through February and March, we were able to keep afloat because I actually had some FA on a coin that kept us afloat through say like December, made us a ton of money, and then Z came in with a ton of FA and a lot of different coins, FA fundamental analysis. So essentially, you're looking at the whole platform. Who is the team behind the coin? So many factors that go into it to where this coin's going to be a solid place to put your funds. And then in the meantime, the market started to correct, started to reload, hit the demand zone on most of the market around 260 billion market cap. And that's when the FA kicks in, because I can take a look at coins with a fundamental analysis lens, but the TA comes in. I meant to say the technical analysis comes in when the market starts to come back. I can kind of tell, okay, this coin might not have anything going on news wise, but people already like this coin, and I can tell by the chart that it's going to do X, Y, and Z. And between the two of us, we kind of have this synergy of two different ways of doing things that's just killing it. I mean, we're up hundreds of percent in the last couple of weeks. So,
and I know that some of your members, Dave, are already inside there, and they're doing. Yeah, they're very happy. They're very, very happy.
Very happy.
Yeah, within the trading room, I'm in there also, not as much as I would like. But every time I go in there, I see so much going on and so much news and everything going on. It's incredible. I mean, you guys, by watching what you're doing and seeing and you guys putting up news, it makes it so much easier to see what's going on and what's coming and what is happening. So it really is great.
Yeah, Z and I, we love our job. In fact, we're supposed to kind of take the weekends off, but we tend to be in the weekends 10 hours a day.
It doesn't happen.
It just doesn't
the weekends don't happen. Yeah, it's cool because I learn a lot inside that room myself. Not just so much from trading standpoint, but just in general. I learn a lot about metals. I learn a lot about the news. There's a lot of cool people inside that have a lot to say, and it's very knowledgeable stuff.
Oh yeah, and I'm just actually I brought up the screen that shows the trade calls. We don't want to put too much up there in the actual crypto discussion because there's private information there from our members. But here in the call, this is where Z and I get on and we'll say, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Here's one of Z's charts right here that he put together for Litecoin. Another one of Z's charts for Bitcoin, and so if you look through here, you'll see timestamps from 4:00 in the morning. Z kind of tends to be on a lot later than I am until about 6 or 7 or 5 in the morning. That's when I get on. So we have a ton of coverage. Most of the time, it's one of us that's going to be in there. There's like Z at 11:52 a couple of days ago. Almost midnight. He's in there charting stuff. So we have people who have some different work schedules. We can accommodate it all. We're pretty much always there. And we have other people in there who work for us who can actually help people get their way around too. So it's not just relying on Z and myself.
Now, what about the people that are just getting into the trading room? I'll just say me, and you want to know, how to trade. Like, where should I go to trade this? What platform should I use to actually do the trades?
So most of our trades happen on Binance, but every time there's a call, I'll see if I can find an older call so we're not giving stuff away for free here. We'll say what exchange it's on. So I'll say, hey, there's this coin. The exchanges are this one here, PPT. It's on Binance, right? And this is an old call, everybody. So, this is not current news. I probably wouldn't be trying to put this call towards any of my research at this point. It's several weeks old, but you can see here it is. Binance, we buy here, we sell at these targets. It's a midterm. This is what we're doing. This is what it looks like. We actually chart it, draw a flag or whatever it is on the chart. Within the room also, we have videos that Z and I and Frank will create as far as, very simple stuff. How do you do a trade on Binance? How do you do a trade on Bittrex? How do you set a stop loss? And that information is there. Also, if you're just new into cryptos, this is actually the website where you can go to the crypto school. I think, Dave, do you have a link for people to kind of click through to get to this?
Yes, I do. It's just x22reportschool.com. And I'll put that link at the bottom of the video. It's also on my website, but I'll put it at the bottom of the video.
Perfect. So it'll be in the description section on YouTube and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But this is where, if you follow Dave's link, it's going to take you right here. There's the crypto school. If you're brand new to crypto, it's a one-time fee. It's what is it? $299.97?
Yeah, it's $299.22, I think it is.
$299.22.
Yeah,
that's
for
right.
X22 report.
There you go. So
and you guys will also be on the exclusive X22 report room that's there as well. So it's pretty cool.
Well, yeah, that's there's the crypto school, so that there's a video education series for especially people who are like brand new. They don't know how to do.
I'm sorry, man. I got it all mixed up. Yeah, that's $297.22 for the crypto school. That's a one-time payment. Okay, a lifetime membership, right? It's this video education series. If you're new to cryptos, you're getting your feet wet, you want to know how does these exchanges work, how to move in and out of fiat, the different types of coins and whatnot, and a little bit tips and tricks on a few things, even a little touching trading a little bit. Video education series, crypto school, one-time payment, lifetime membership. The Watch Us Trade Room, okay, the Watch Us Trade Room, folks. It's $299. 22 a month, $299 a month. And you might say to yourself, damn, it's like $300 a month. How am I going to afford that? You're going to do so well in your crypto trades. It's what everybody does. We have people that literally pay for a month of trade, either next month's membership within a day or so of trading with us. I mean, legit. Everybody pays with their profits that they make from their crypto, so you got to worry about it. And it's also a great motivation. Hey, I'm in here. I'm going to make a killing. I got to cover that $300 nut at the end of the day. Let me go ahead and make these trades. So it's a great motivation, great tools. Everybody's in there, and everybody's having a fantastic time.
Yeah, it really is a blast. So, and again, the link will be will be in the YouTube description for those who want to go ahead and get in there. And a lot of people are concerned, like, oh, if I send my money to Coinbase and I turn it into my bank to pay for my stuff, that's a problem. Well, I mean, Coinbase in and of itself, they supposedly aren't going to even look at you if you're under 20,000. So that's putting your fees in for the room over a year's period of time is under 20,000. However, it's
like
way
like $4,000.
Yeah, it's something like that. But in the meantime, for those of us who do want to take profit, initially exclusive to our room only will be this platform that V is putting together, and having concerns about taxes are irrelevant and legally irrelevant through this platform that V is putting together. So
legally, exactly.
It's medals, guys. It's medals. You're gonna get medals, and it's gonna be awesome. And I'm very excited about this.
Heck yeah.
Because we all love our gold and silver.
All right, guys. Listen, I really appreciate you being on the spotlight. Thank you very much for coming on.
I just want to thank you, Dave. I mean, you've been awesome inside the room. I know everybody's super excited to ask you questions whenever you hop in there.